Good morning, my dear students. Now let me start the second session. Your third derivation, moment of inertia of a thin uniform rod. Even in this case, you have four cases. First one, case A, about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the length of the uniform rod. So look at this figure first. So PQ is a uniform rectangular rod. O is the center. From center on either sides, the length is L by 2, where L is the length of the rod, and O is the center. Y dash is the axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its length. And here, at a distance x, consider an elemental section whose thickness is dx. So this is the explanation of the figure. Now coming to the explanation part, consider a straight, thin, uniform rectangular rod PQ of length L and mass capital M. Let the axis y dash be passing through the center of the rod, that is point O in the figure, and perpendicular to its length as shown in the figure. Mass per unit length of the rod is small m. It is equal to mass of the rod, capital M, divided by length of the rod, capital L. Assume that the rod is divided into a number of infinitely small elements. Consider one such element of length dx, that is shaded part in the above figure. This is the elemental section. Consider one such element of length dx at a distance x from the center of the rod O. Therefore, mass of the element is m into dx, mass per unit length into its length dx. That is m by L into dx. Therefore, moment of inertia of this element about the axis y dash is mass into square of the radius of gyration. So mass is m by L into dx into radius of gyration is x, that is x square. Therefore, moment of inertia of the rod about the axis y dash is given by integrating the above term between the limits x is equal to minus L by 2 to x is equal to L plus L by 2. So therefore, I is equal to integral of m by L dx into x square between the limits x is equal to minus L by 2 to x is equal to plus L by 2. Now take out m by L as constant into integral x square dx. Now let us integrate this. This is the same step. I is equal to m by 2m by L. Sorry, it is just m by L. M by L into integral x square into dx, which is equal to m by L into integration of x square is x cube by 3 between the limits minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. Now substitute the limits. Before you substitute, take out this 3 outside. It becomes m by 3L into x cube between the limits. Now substitute the upper limit first. In place of x, you write L by 2 whole cube minus of minus plus L by 2 whole cube. That is lower limit. Simplifying further, we get I is equal to m by 3L into L cube by 8 plus L cube by 8, which is equal to m by 3L into 2L cube by 8. After simplifying, I is equal to ml square by 12, that is equation 1, and radius of gyration k is equal to L by square root of 12, that is equation 2. So equation 1 gives you moment of inertia of a thin straight rod about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its length. And equation 2 gives radius of gyration. Next, let us come to the second case, B. Axis about an axis, moment of inertia about an axis passing through one end of the rod and perpendicular to its length. So look at the figure. So PQ is the rod, O is the center, and L is the length of the rod, M is mass of the rod. Consider the axis YY dash at one end of the rod and perpendicular to its length. So to find moment of inertia about this YY dash axis, you just consider a small section in the given thin rod. So let dx be the thickness of this elemental part, and it is at a distance x from one end of the rod. Now same way, explanation is the same. Parallax theorem can be applied to find the moment of inertia of the rod about the axis yy dash, which passes through one of its ends. Moment of inertia of the rod about the axis yy dash is given by I is equal to integral 0 to L m by L into x square into dx. So here we are not applying parallax theorem. Even by applying parallax theorem, it can be derived. But straight away, you know that m by L gives you mass per unit length into x square is a moment into dx is a mass into x square. So this is moment of inertia of the elemental portion, and integrate this between the limit 0 to L. So take out m by L as constant into integral x square into dx between the limits 0 and L. So the next step is m by L is constant. Integration of x square is x cube by 3 between the limits 0 and L. So it becomes m L cube by m L cube by 3L. Cancel L and L. You will get I is equal to ml square by 3. So equation 3 gives moment of inertia of a thin straight rod about a tangent about an axis passing through one end and perpendicular to its length. And radius of gyration is L by root 3. So equation 4 gives radius of gyration. Next, third case, in the case of thin straight rod, axis about an axis at a distance a from one end and perpendicular to its length. So now PQ is a rod, axis YY dash is at a distance a from one end of the rod, and O is the center, and this dotted line is the axis passing through the center, and we know that moment of inertia about this axis, let us call it as Z, it is ml square by 12, and this is the elemental portion which is at a distance x from the given axis, and the length of this elemental section is dx. So moment of inertia of the rod about the axis yy dash is given by I is equal to Iz plus m into L by 2 minus a whole square. So here I have considered this dotted line as the z-axis. Actually, it is not parallel to z-axis. It's an axis parallel to y dash. And since the axis is passing through the center and perpendicular to the length of the rod, you know the expression Iz is ml square by 12 plus m is mass into the distance between these two parallel axes is L by 2 minus a. So therefore, from parallel axis theorem, we can write moment of inertia about the axis yy dash is equal to Iz plus m into L by 2 minus a whole square. Next substitute, Iz is ml square by 12 plus m, take LCM, expand this term, L by 2 minus a whole square, L by 2 minus a whole square is L square by 4 minus 2 into L by 2 into a plus a square. So on the next step, the first term is ml square by 12 plus m into L square by 4 minus the 2 gets cancelled. So m into L into a plus m into a square. Take LCM now. Take out m, common factor, and then first term is L square by 12 plus L square by 4 minus L into a plus a square. Now take out LCM, 12 is LCM, so m by 12 into first term is L square, second term is 3L square, next minus 12 L into a plus 12a square. So on simplifying, we get this final expression. I is equal to m into L cube by 3 minus LA plus A square. Equation 5 gives you moment of inertia of a straight thin rod about an axis which is at a distance A from one end of the rod. And equation 6 gives the radius of gyration. K is equal to square root of L cube by 3 minus LA plus A square. Next, fourth derivation is moment of inertia of a solid sphere. Even here, we have many cases. First case, moment of inertia of a solid sphere about its diameter. Consider a solid sphere of radius r and mass m as shown in the figure. So radius is r, mass is m. Let small m be the mass per unit volume of the sphere. Consider the sphere to be made up of a large number of concentric spherical shells. So here one such spherical shell is shown of thickness dx each. So dx is the thickness of each spherical shell. Now consider a spherical shell at a distance x from the center O of the solid sphere. Let dx be its thickness. Volume of the shell is 4 pi x square into dx. Volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So here first one is volume of the shell. It is 4 pi x square surface area into thickness dx. That's the volume of the spherical shell. Volume of the whole sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Therefore, mass per unit length of the sphere is mass divided by volume. M divided by 4 pi 3 pi r cube, which is 3m divided by 4 pi r cube. Hence, the mass of the shell is 3m divided by 4 pi r cube. That is mass per unit volume of the sphere into its volume is 4 pi x square into dx. This term. Simplifying, we get mass of the spherical shell is 3mx square into dx by r cube. Therefore, moment of inertia of the shell about a diameter is 2 by 3 times mass into square of the radius. that is 2 by 3 into mass is 3mx square dx by r cube into its radius is x, therefore x square. Simplifying, we get 2m by r cube into x to the power 4 dx. Let me call it as equation 1. Now, to find moment of inertia of the sphere, whole sphere, we should integrate this term between the limits x is equal to 0 to x is equal to r. So therefore, moment of inertia of the solid sphere about a diameter is attained by integrating equation 1 between the limits x is equal to 0 and x is equal to r. Therefore, this is the next step. So look at equation 1, integrate between the limits. I is equal to integral 2m by r cube into x to the power 4 into dx between the limits x is equal to 0 to x is equal to r. So take out 2m by r cube as common factor. The remaining term is x to the power 4 into dx. Integrate between the limit 0 to r. It is 2m by r cube into x to the power 5 divided by 5 between the limits 0 and r. Take this 5 outside and then put the limits. You will get I is equal to 2m by r cube into r to the power 5 divided by 5. So therefore I is equal to 2 by 5 mr square. This is a moment of inertia expression for a solid sphere about an axis passing along any diameter, and the radius of gyration is given by k is equal to square root of 2 by 5 into r. And the second case B, moment of inertia of the sphere about a tangent. So look at the figure. AB is the tangent drawn to the sphere at some point which is parallel to the diameter CD. O is the center of the sphere, R is its radius. Therefore, by parallel axis theorem, we have moment of inertia about AB is equal to moment of inertia about CD, which is already derived in the previous case, plus m, mass of the disk, mass of the sphere, into d square. So here I AB is equal to I along the tangent, D is equal to R, and moment of inertia about CD is 2 by 5 mr square. Substituting above, we get I along the tangent AB is equal to 2 by 5 mr square plus mr square, which is equal to 7 by 5 mr square. That is equation 4. So simplifying, we get equation 4, I is equal to 7 by 5 mr square is a moment of inertia expression in this case, and radius of gyration is square root of 7 by 5 into r. This completes solid sphere. And next one is fifth derivation is moment of inertia of a rectangular bar. So rectangular plate or rectangular laminae is as shown in the above figure, and we have considered the axis yy dash passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane. Let us assume that the rectangular bar has many thin laminae placed one above the other. So now consider, this is the explanation part. Consider a rectangular bar of length L. L is the length, breadth B, small b, is the breadth, and thickness small t, having a mass m. M is mass of the rectangular bar. Suppose the rectangular bar is divided into a number of thin laminae, actually it should be laminae, of mass m each. Small m is mass of each, placed one above the other as shown in the above figure. The moment of inertia of a laminae about the axis yy dash perpendicular to its plane and passing through its center is given by I is equal to ml square by 12 plus mb square by 12. because the rectangular laminae, thin laminae has length, L behaves as one thin straight rod, B breadth, due to breadth it behaves as another thin rod. Therefore, we can write moment of inertia as a sum of these two terms, ml square by 12 plus mb square by 12. Therefore, moment of inertia of the rectangular bar about the axis yy dash is Iy is equal to summation m, you take it outside, into L square plus b square by 12. So summation I is the total mass of the rectangular bar into L square plus b square by 12. So equation 1 gives you moment of inertia of the rectangular plate about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane of the lamina. And equation 2 gives you radius of gyration. K is equal to square root of L square plus b square by 12. Next, second case B. About an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the length of the rectangular plate. So in the figure, ABCD is a rectangular plate, L is the length. We have shown the axis YY dash passing through the center and perpendicular to the length. And this is the elemental portion at a distance x from the axis yy dash. Its thickness is dx. So therefore, the length of the rectangular plate on either side from the axis will be L by 2 as shown in the figure. Now let us come to the derivation part. Consider, this is the explanation part, consider a thin strip of thickness dx of the lamina at a distance x from the y-axis perpendicular to the length. Let small m be the mass per unit area. The whole lamina may be supposed to be made up of such thin strips parallel to the y-axis. Mass of the thin strip is m into b into dx. Therefore, moment of inertia of the strip about the axis yy dash is mass into x square, that is m into b dx into x square. Moment of inertia of the whole rectangular lamina about the axis yy dash is obtained by integrating the above equation for the limits x is equal to minus L by 2 and x is equal to plus L by 2. So therefore, your next step is Iy is equal to integral m into b dx into x square between the limits x is equal to minus L by 2 to x is equal to plus L by 2. So take m into b as common factor into integral x square dx between the limits x is equal to minus L by 2 to x is equal to plus L by 2. mb integrating x square term, we get x cube by 3 between the limits. It is equal to mb by 3 into L cube by 8 plus L cube by 8. Simplifying, we get mb L cube by 12. Since m, mass per unit length, into length and breadth gives you mass of the rectangular plate. Therefore, Iy is equal to ml square by 12. Equation 3 gives you moment of inertia of the rectangular plate about an axis passing through its plane, passing through the center and through the plane perpendicular to its length. And radius of gyration is given by L by root 12, that is equation 4. And the third case, I will continue this third case with a small